everyone, this is Ziya Mohamedjani with the Madison Company, and today's topic is going to be for sales managers, and it's part one of a two-part series. And the topic we're going to be covering today is knowing your sales reps' learning and communication tendencies. First of all, let me ask you, as a sales manager, do you have any type of communication issues with your sales subordinate? In other words, sometimes you want something done, or you want some analysis or a report, and you give instructions, or you tell a salesperson how it should be done, or you're in the field training and you're giving instructions. You think they understand it, but however, the outcome is totally different. For example, the report is not what you expected. The analytics aren't they're not using the numbers that you wanted them to use. Or if you're giving them any type of a training exercise, what you're getting in return or as an output is not what you're really looking for. You ever come across that type of a situation? Well, as a sales manager, you probably have. At this point, let me ask you this though. Is it really the salesperson's inability to comprehend what you're telling them, or their lack of experience? Is that what's hindering the problem? Or is it really you who may not be communicating properly or not understanding how the salesperson understands? It's funny because as sales managers, what we tend to do is we try to look for clones in ourselves. However, we have to realize that if you have 5 salespeople working for you as a sales manager, that you're going to have 5 different experiences, 5 different personalities, 5 different learning methodologies, 5 different communication ways that you would have to talk to each person. So whose fault really is it? The idea is really not to point fingers here, but how do you resolve this issue? Now let's take a closer look at how people learn or how people pick up information. There's primarily three ways that this happens. One is through reading, the other one is through observing and listening, and third, there's by doing. Let me give you a specific example of what I'm talking about. What do you do when you buy a new gadget or a VCR, like an old guy like myself would buy a VCR? What do you do when it's packed in a package? You open it up, and inside the package you find the instruction sheet or the manual, and then there's the product. Do you read the instruction sheet first before you're using the product? I, for one, for example, I end up opening up the box, I put aside the instruction manual, I look at the gadget, VCR, whatever it may be, and I just start using it. That's how I learn. I learn by doing. It's not through reading, it's not through listening to other people. Of course, I do read, I do listen, but the dominant way that I learn and the way that I can communicate better is by doing things and showing how things are done. So now, really, do you know what your sales reps that report to you, what do they do when they open up a new package? Are you aware of how they learn or how they communicate? Are they the types who are similar to you, or are they the types that are different? Now, the important part of this is if they are different from what you are, because you're really looking not for a clone of yourself, but you want to communicate with a person who may have different ways of learning or communicating, you need to address that need. That's what a sales manager needs to do. If you have 6 people reporting to you, there may be 6 different ways that you need to communicate with them. One may be through email, other one may be through a written instruction. Other ones you need to at least go over specifically one by one, demonstrating what you want done. So it is a tough task, yet at the same time it's something that's absolutely essential for you to do, otherwise the communication just won't be there. So in conclusion, do you know what's the best way of communicating with your sales reps or how they learn? Well, here's what you really need to do, and I'd suggest this very strongly. First of all, find out about yourself. What's the way that you learn? What's the best way that you communicate or that you like to receive communication? And then the second step is, what's the way that your subordinates, each individual one of them, likes to learn, and how do they want to be communicated with? Only then, once you identify the dynamics between yourself and your subordinates, and on an individualized basis, will you start becoming a more effective communicator, and you'll get the results of what you want. In other words, if you're going to give them something to do, a task to do, you'll get it in the way that you want it, and you don't have to waste time going over and over and over again. In the second part of this video, I'm going to give you a specific methodology of how you can identify what the tendencies, the learning tendencies for your subordinates are. It's something you can do. It'll help you in understanding how better to communicate, because then you'll have a better understanding of what type of communication methodologies, what type of learning tendencies they would have. So you'd have a much easier time to have a fruitful conversation with them, and also better training with them. As always, we look forward to your comments and feedback to these videos. Please contact us. We look forward to hearing from you. That's all for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.